What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Go to Trades, and I'm back with the Straw Hat Trading Channel, and I'm back, guys. I know it's been a while since I uploaded, right? And it's not because of any bad reasons or anything. It's because I've been busy, guys. I've been on vacation. I went on vacation to Japan for about a month, about 3 weeks. And the last video I put was a video saying that I was right. The market is topping. Now, that video kind of aged pretty well, even though within that time span, within the week, I'm talking about the week didn't even finish yet. Within that week, I've been getting a whole bunch of comments like clowning me, like, oh my God, like, guys, chill. I can't give my opinion on the internet. Oh my God. Anyways, since then, that week, right? That week that I said that I was right and the market was topping, guess what? We peaked over all-time highs. And then we end up selling. Literally, since I said that, we haven't seen a test of all-time high since. So, like, who looks stupid now? And it's like, I said, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I told you so, because that's lame as hell. But it's more lame when you guys, like, I come on here and I give you guys my opinion. It's like, I'm giving you guys my opinion. I'm sacrificing sounding like an idiot every week. You know what I'm saying? All the time. I come on here like sacrificing, sounding like an idiot. What are y'all doing? You guys are just as clueless. If I'm clueless, you guys are just as clueless because you guys clicked on this video. You guys are watching me. So you guys don't even know what's about to happen. You guys are like, come on, like let's be for real. It's okay to have opinions that's not your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like if I say the market's going down and you think it's going up, it's okay. Obviously, like we all have different time spans of our trades. I wasn't saying that it's gonna happen the next day. I didn't say it was gonna happen the very next. I said within that week that we are topping. That's just what it is, guys. That's what it was, and we end up topping. Anyways, let's get on into the video. A lot's been going on. We had a lot of inflationary pressures, a lot of hot CPI numbers and hot numbers in general. We've been seeing not only hot numbers, but we also been seeing some war news going on in the Middle East, a lot of pressure and a lot of fears in the market. And you can see within last week, we've been seeing a lot of red in this market. We've been, especially with finances, we've been seeing some underwhelming earnings coming up with banks. And we have more earnings coming up this week. So we have a lot to go over. Tech is holding up. As you can see, this is really the only big parts of green within last week. We see Apple, which has been getting hammered. We see Nvidia. We see Google. We see Amazon. We see big tech. Big tech is holding up. And why is big tech holding up? Because big tech also is coming up with earnings within the next few weeks. We have Netflix coming up with earnings this week, Tesla the very next week. And guys, it's a lot going on. A lot is on the line. And this is why this weekly analysis is super important. It's probably going to be one of the most important weekly analysis throughout this month. So please bear with me and please pay attention to what I'm about to say. Anyways, this shows me with all this red that we are in a risk-off environment, meaning that we should not be laying on as much risk as we would like to, okay? So that's all that's showing. This is a very broad red, and we've been selling off. Boy, on the S&P, we've been selling off. So that's all I really got to say for the broader market right now. Let's get into the earnings. We have a lot of banks reporting, especially in the beginning of the week. We have Goldman Sachs. We have Schwab. We have First Bank. Even in the end of the week, we have American Express is going to be pretty important for consumer reports. We have I think we have another bank. We have Bank of America right here, Morgan Stanley. We have a lot of banks, guys. Banks are reporting. Now, we do have some tech earnings coming as well. We have some manufacturing names like ASML. We have TSM. It's going to be very important for chips. We have Netflix. Netflix is going to be very important to start off the tech earnings. Now, if Netflix performs poorly or guides down, this is gonna hurt tech. Okay. Now, tech's been going sideways for weeks now, and maybe for about a month. We've been going sideways for a while on tech, and this could be the precursor. Maybe Netflix will be the one to move the market and actually decide where big tech wants to go, or tech wants to go in general. So this is gonna be very important. Discover, again, another credit. So yeah, I'm gonna go over, if I actually do want to play a earnings play, I'm gonna go over it in the end of the video. So make sure you watch the whole video because it's gonna be very important. Okay. So Netflix, I will be letting you know if I am what I'm going to do for my trade plan for earnings, and I'll explain why and all that good stuff. Next, let's go into the macroeconomics. I briefly talked about inflationary pressure that's been going on in the market, and this is very apparent in the dollar and in yields, right? So in the dollar, last time I spoke on this video, and before I even like get into it, remember, these videos stack, right? Meaning that these video all they're continuous, right? The last video corresponds to the next video. The video before that corresponds to the last video. Like, they all correspond. They're dominoes, right? So for you guys to get the full picture, you guys have to watch every single video. I'm sorry, I know they're long. I know it's a lot within these analysis videos, but guys, we're trying to make money, right? So pay attention to these videos. I'm not a guru. I don't know everything, but I think I'm pretty decent at what I do, and just hear me out. Maybe you could combine what you know and what I know, and you guys can make a baby. That's kind of freaky, no diddy. But yeah, okay. So here on this weekly chart, last time I made a video was about a month ago. This was around the FOMC time. So around FOMC, that was like the week of March 18th. So around here, I told you guys that we are in this big ass descending triangle, and we were trying to break out of it. We end up breaking out that week, but we're trying to hold it. So within the past 3 weeks, we've been trying to hold this breakout, and we end up retesting and actually breaking out and having a monster run all the way from 104, sub 104, so 103.9, all the way to 106. What a monster run for the dollar. So why do we even care about the dollar going up? Guys, when the dollar trend is going up, that means there is pressure into the market. That means that equities are getting more pressured. I'm not saying it's a direct causation for the market to go down, but it's a correlation. So when the dollar is going up, equities tend to be a little bit weaker, less desirable. And with the dollar getting to 106, that is a very big development, guys. The last time we've been all the way up here was around September of last year. September to October of last year. Now, that's why is that important, guys? That's when we've seen lows in the market. So if we end up getting above this, what is it, 107.3 area, guys? If we get above that, this is when the market was bottoming out in October. So if we get above that, we could be seeing a larger pullback unfolding, right? So that I believe could happen in the future, maybe in the near future or the mid future, maybe not the near future, but maybe the mid future. But since this is a weekly video, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Let me tell you guys what I think is going to happen in the week. In the week, I do believe you are going to continue going up. Like, look at this. This is a bullish engulfing strong candle here. So I do believe you're going to get some type of continuation. You're going to get some type of continuation this week, maybe going up to this 107-ish, maybe 107 to 106.8. Around this area, I do believe we're going to test the supply zone, and I do believe bears on the dollar are going to shoot you lower. So I do believe that we're going to go up and then go down, right? And when this does happen, I do believe that we will get some type of relief. Like, obviously, we're going to, as the dollar is going up and like trying to test the supply zone, I do believe that equities are going to start going down. So if you see like a gap down in the market on Monday, or even just weakness on the market on Monday, guys, just pay attention to the dollar. If the dollar starts weakening in this supply area on the dollar, if it starts weakening, then I do believe that we will be bottoming out on a short-term basis on equities. Okay, like that means on NQ, that means on the SPY, we will be bottoming out on a short-term basis. So we'll be able to get some day trades to the upside, I believe, sometime beginning of next week, maybe. That's what I think. And obviously, if we start scaling down and we end up getting to this support area around 104.5 to 104.2, this is where I'd get, back into puts or look for really bear opportunities, okay? So again, a test of 104.2 to 104.7, that's where I'm looking for bearish opportunities on the market. So on S&P, on NQ, because this is a strong support on the dollar, and I do believe that the dollar is going to rally off of this, right? So if the dollar actually does rally off the support here, this is where I believe things get spicy. If we end up breaking this 107 4 area, like basically breaking the highs from October, if we break it and we end up mounting, I do believe that we're going to set up for not only the dollar getting a lot of strength, but we're going to set up for the market selling off. In my opinion, that we're going to be seeing mean reversion into the market. We're going to see a deeper pullback. So please, guys, pay attention. Put these alerts down on your charts, on your trading view, whatever you use, because this is a very important analysis. So again, if you come down to about 104.5 to about 104.2, come back up all the way to this 107.5, guys, that would be the confirmation for me for more downside in the market. Now going to the yields, I do believe yields, again, we've been having a lot of inflationary reports, a lot of pressures within the inflationary environment. This looks pretty concerning as well. All right, the last time I had a video, I think I told you guys that we were setting up for a potential head and shoulders here, with this supply zone being the sell point. We actually end up breaking up above. So it's looking like that head and shoulders is invalidated, right? So now what I'm looking for is some type of sell here in the supply zone of the channel, and maybe a remount. This remount of 4.3%. If we remount and we end up continue going higher, guys, I believe that the market is going to have some type of sell, guys. And it corresponds, like they both correspond with each other, both the yields and the dollar, right? So I do believe the same action is going to apply. We get some type of action where I'm so sorry, that was my alert. We're going to get some type of action like going up into this, what is this? Going up to this maybe 4.68, maybe going to this like maybe 4.65, 4.62, whatever. Anything in this area, we're going to probably get some type of sell on the yields and actually go back lower into this 4.375, 4.36. This is where I believe there might be another uptick and another higher low to be formed for another higher high push. Right, I do believe that we are trying to target 5%. I am convinced that we're trying to target 5%, and this is again October. This is our October high. So if we end up targeting that and we mount above, so if we target it, mount above, guys, we are going to see a major sell. I'm sorry, but I can't give guarantees for things when it comes to the market, so I'm not going to give a guarantee. But I will say that it is very, very, very likely, okay? So that is what I'm watching for. Make sure to put it in your charts. Okay, so now moving on to indexes. This is a very important segment of the video, guys. I do believe, and ignore this candle here. This is because how I'm recording it. I'm recording it when the actual index futures are actually starting to be traded. So just ignore that, okay? Anyways, I do believe that we are forming some type of descending triangle, possibly, and the descending triangle on NQ starts again on FOMC, where I call the top. This is on within the March 18th week. So if we started from there, right? Not only did we break out of our rising wedge that I've been calling for however long I've been calling it for, we broke out of this rising wedge pattern. And not only that, we've been making a series of, right here, we've been making a series of lower highs, right? We've been making a series of lower highs, and I do believe that we are continuing, right? So usually descending triangles go like this, right? Where we go down, we hit a major support, and then we go back up. We cannot clear, so we make a lower high. And then we end up going back to our support. It's just the same support. We just keep doing it. lower high, go back to support. So I do believe that our next lower high is going to be around 18.4. So our 18.4 level, that's what I'm watching for. So I have it marked right here. Wait, boom. So yeah, right here, this 18.4 test, I do believe we're going to go to 18.4 or around there, and then we are going to sell back off. Now, this sell, I do believe that it's two things that can happen, right? We can hit our NVIDIA demand zone, and just a refresher, the NVIDIA demand zone that you see here, it's hard to see it. It is from our NVIDIA earnings that we had last time for NVIDIA earnings. It was when the market was selling off and we end up gapping up into this demand area. So this is a very, very important spot. As you can see, we've been like range bound for basically since the year started with this NVIDIA demand zone, right? So I do believe that after we make this lower high, that we test this NVIDIA demand zone and we either respect it and we go to another lower high and then we break down, or we do something like this where we instantly break down, right? So we come up, so where we come up into this area here and then we just break down, right? If we actually break down, guys, this is what I'm watching for, right? If we actually break down and break this NVIDIA demand zone, I'm watching for this is when the actual trades come out, right? The actual trades come out here, where if we actually break down, we come into this area like the 17.8 area. This is our mount of our previous all-time highs that we made in the beginning of January. So we come here, we try to mount it, and we either keep forming lower highs and lower lows, and we just keep grinding lower like this until we hit this major buy area, this major buy zone around here, or we do something like this, right? Boom, boom, and then we try to break out again. We go to like the lower range of this supply zone here. We try to hold, and then we break, right? That's what it's either or. I'm looking for either of those actions to happen, right? Either way, I do believe that rallies at this point will lead to bear demand if you actually make this lower low here, right? I mean this lower high here. So I do believe that that is very likely to happen. So it just that's what I'm watching for, right? Now, obviously, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't think it's gonna happen the next day. This is something just developing. The only thing that I could promise you, or not even promise you, one thing that I think is very likely to happen for next week is that we do come to this demand zone here, and we do try to find buyers and try to make a lower high. However, if we actually say we break above, right? Say we break above, and we end up mounting and going higher. That could happen, guys. Like, I'm not saying that can't happen. It can happen. Truly, it can happen, right? But, you know, due to the momentum so far, us not going up anymore, like, we're starting to curl, right? Just because we're us trying to curl, this looks like we're possibly trying to set up to go lower. So that's what I'm watching for, some type of test lower. And the levels vary, so I can't give you any real levels until it happens. So next week, I'll try to give you guys some more concrete levels, but the levels to watch that I could give you guys right now is just watch between 18.1 to 1800. That is your NVIDIA demand zone. If you break that under there, you are in trouble. You are looking to possibly go to either 17.7, which is around here, around to the 17.7. And if you can't hold that 17.7, your major buy zone here, this is where I am loading up a lot of calls and a lot of, you know, upside potential stuff, like even some stocks, buying some, you know, some stocks here. It's that 17.2. 17.2 around here, between 17.2 to 16.5, 8. This is where I'm trying to get active. Like, this is where I want to, you know, enter some more risk, right? So it all depends on what's happening, right? So these are the levels that I'm watching, and make sure you guys are watching it too. Again, it's 18.4 to 18.3 as your supply. Around 1800 to 17.7, that is like your short term demand zone, and your long term demand zone is between this big range of 17.2 to 16.5, 16.6. Okay, so let's move to ES. Hope you guys caught that, because we are on a time crunch, guys. So boom, right? ES is very similar to NQ, but something is different, right? One thing that I noticed within my trading journey is that ES has more volume than NQ. Why does that matter, right? ES has more volume than NQ, and that matters because when NQ is holding up and ES is weak, usually NQ ends up following ES and then ends up getting weaker. However, when ES is strong and NQ is weak, we end up getting more follow through to the upside on both. That's when QQQ starts corresponding with ES, right? So that's one thing I noticed. And in this case, ES looks way weaker than NQ. So maybe, just maybe, we might be seeing more of a sinister sell on NQ, right? So here on the SPY, on the shorter term time frame, we are in this parallel downwards channel, very parallel actually. So we just been bouncing here, boom, boom, just keep on bouncing, right? Keep on bouncing and selling. So one thing that I'm looking for, because we should be finding buyers here. If we end up finding buyers here, I do see us getting some type of retest of 5215 to 5200, so around this area, right? So if we get that retest around this area, I do believe that we could either set up to sell, or we could set up to get a base, right? So if we set up to sell, it will look something like this, as you can see on this arrow here, where we end up setting some type of sell and into the 5100 level, and that 5100 level varies. So it's like 5100 to 5125, 5130. So if we end up getting that base there, then we could just end up going higher and retesting one of these supply zones, whether it's this supply zone here, this 5200 supply zone, or this 5250 to 5240 supply zone here. One of these supply zones will be getting tested, and I do believe it will set you up for a range bound sell, which will get a range of, like this type of range breakout, we'll get the same type of sell range breakout, something like this. So that's what I believe would happen, and we would find some type of support, lower low support around 50.20 to about 49.50, around there. That's what I'm watching for. And if we actually do see some type of continuation, we could even go to lows of 4800 to 4880. So that's very important. However, another case that could happen, like a more, I guess, optimistic case, if we get some type of action like this, right, where we end up bouncing and we hit the support area, but we find like a base here instead. Like if we end up finding a base in this demand area, like if we find some type of base here, maybe we could set up something like what Apple did, right? What Apple did was something like this, right? Where we looked like we were gonna sell. We found a base here, and instead of like selling off, what Apple did was it consolidated, found a base. Hold on, I messed up. You consolidated, you found a base, and then you break out. If you break out of this downwards channel and then you retest and you break back up, a bull case, you might just continue to try to tag all-time highs, or maybe you might get into this supply zone before you sell. Like anything could happen at this point. So my advice, or what I'm doing, is I'm pretty much waiting here, right? So I do have some small calls at the moment, but I do think that we're gonna try to claim this 5200 area, and if we fail, then I believe that getting into some puts wouldn't be a bad idea. but just take profits. Like take profits in this February close, right? You could take profits here at this 51.65, or take profits at this 51.50 area. And if you end up breaking it, then obviously you look for the retest, like the lower high retest. Then or maybe right here or right here. You look for the lower high retest, and then you could get more aggressive. But at this point, I wouldn't get aggressive on either side, upside or downside. Yeah, you just got to be patient. But look, guys, you're setting up something nasty on ES. This is the Head and Shoulders, guys, and maybe let me put it to the line chart so you can see it. Right, you're setting up a Head and Shoulders. Like this is a clear as day Head and Shoulders you're setting up here. So your shoulders would come around here, right? This 52.40-ish. So if you actually do end up breaking out, your breakout might just be led into some type of sellers being in this bear area. So I do think bears have control. If we get any type of retest around here, I would side with the bears. That's what I would do. And, you don't got to listen to me. But that's what I would do. And maybe our retest area would be like I said, somewhere around here. Be somewhere around here. Maybe short term, somewhere around here. But you are setting up for something sinister, guys. And I didn't even mention it, but even on this, it's a Head and Shoulders pattern. Well, it's looking like a Head and Shoulders pattern on the Qs. Like, it's looking like it. Hold on, let me show you on the daily. But we just need more confirmation. ES has a little bit more confirmation, but we need it on NQ as well. Both Head and Shoulders looking like it's trying to play out. And obviously, we are targeting, if the Head and Shoulders does play out on NQ, we are targeting down here in this buy zone. So, look, guys, I'm not saying that the market's going to sell, but if it does, I've been giving guys a pretty good case for if it does sell, why it would sell, and all that good stuff. So, like and subscribe so you guys can keep up to date to see what's happening and what's the trading plan and all that good stuff. Let's look at RTY and the Dow Jones, right? This been looking pretty nasty, if I were to say so myself. Right now, you are in some type of support area on RTY. I do believe that you might get some type of, like, maybe more downside pressure, a little bit more. But 1995, around 1990 to around 2000, 2010, this is your demand area. I do see buyers stepping in around here. Now, it's very risky, but I do see buyers bring you back up into the supply area here. The supply area lies between 2060 to 2050, 2045. And if you actually break out, right, because this is a rising wedge. I mean, a falling wedge. So technically, you look like you might want to try to break out if you end up doing something like this, where you consolidate for a while. So you consolidate in this range, and then you break out into like maybe this 2080 area. You come back down, you retest maybe this 2030 area, and then you go higher, right? That's all fine and dandy, right? But bears lie here. Bears lie here, and this is where I'd want to get active into shorting small caps. So shorting like Coinbase or, very volatile small mid cap names. This is where I would want to get active. So this will be a retest of your previous highs in December, and if you can't claim above, if you can't claim above 21.25, yeah, bears will try to step in and bring you down. I believe that this is a layup trade for bears. If bears fail here, then I don't know what to say. This is the easiest trade for bears to make, in my opinion, and I do believe that this could happen where we get a slingshot down all the way from 2100 all the way down to 1950. This is your major demand zone. So that's what I'm watching, right? You guys could do it too, but that's what I'm watching. Similar to the Dow Jones, I do believe that you're going to find some type of buyers here. What is it? Around 3770. Yeah, 37,700, 37 to 3,800. So around here, you're going to find some type of base. I don't have any precise levels as of yet because, guys, I just came from vacation. So I don't have any precise levels as of yet, but this is what I'm looking at right now, some type of basing here. If we end up basing, we come up into our previous Bear zone, which is 3,900. I do believe bear is same thing. It's a layup, sling you back down way to this demand zone here at 3,700. So that's what I'm looking for the indexes. Pretty simple. I think it's pretty simple. Let's go over the tech chart. Okay, so tech chart, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep this brief, guys. I don't know what tech wants to do yet. Due to how I believe the market is setting up, I believe that you might have some type of fake out to the upside and break down to the downside. That's just what I think. I mean, there's no real structure of confirmation like you are in this box here on big tech. Like, look, you're in this box. But again, you are topping, so maybe you end up breaking down here. But we don't know unless we get some type of action. Like, the only thing I could say is, like, guys, we have Netflix earnings. So maybe Netflix will give us some type of confluence to say, like, okay, maybe we're going down or maybe we're going up. So until then, like, it's hard to say what's going to happen here, okay? So I don't really have any analysis here on big tech. You're in range. Let me take out a horizontal. Take out a horizontal line, all right? So you're in range. Look, you're in range right here between this 30.50 to about 3,200. Like, you're just in range. You're in this box. There's nothing you can really do until you break out of this box. It's like whatever. But I do believe that you may be setting up to fall. It depends on how Netflix goes and how just earnings in general goes for big tech. Next, we have XOK. XOK is more of the same. More of the same. However, it does look a little bit more bearish. You do have a topping curl gravestone looking formation on the weekly. Let's look at it on the monthly. On the monthly, you do have this doji here. You do have this doji. It's not looking too good. You might want to rebalance to 198.34. Who knows? There's no real confirmation. We just have to wait to see what happens on these earnings, guys. As much as it pains me to say it, bro, I wish I knew what was gonna happen, but I don't. You are making a series of lower highs, so that's pretty cool. And you are technically making some type of I can't even say. Like, you're trying to make some type of lower lows, but it's hard to say. You know, you are trying to make some lower lows here, lower highs. So I am siding a little bit more to the bearish side. But it's hard to see. We have to wait to see what happens. QQQ looks a little bit more precise, a little bit more defined. Same thing. You look gravestony, toppy. You did break out or break down out of this rising wedge here. So now I'm just, you broke down and now you're just making these lower highs. So that's pretty good, but you are making these higher lows as well. So it's hard to say what's going to happen. Hopefully we get some type of direction on Netflix. So that's all I could really say. Only thing that can give you some type of confluence is maybe a break under 32, a break under 432. If you get a break under 432, you did make a lower low on the weekly chart, and that would be pretty telling. That would be like kind of more of a confirmation because you get like that break of 432 maybe to like 430, and then you curl back up and make a lower high, and then you break down, make some type of head and shoulders. Who knows? Anything could happen in this market, so we're just trying to be prepared, guys, really. Now let's go to chips. So chips, a little bit more of the same, where we are in a box, we are in a range trading, but again, guys, we are making lower highs. Now, what I'm watching for, right? A trade that I'm watching for some type of test under this demand zone here. So between our February highs and February closes, there is a major demand zone, not demand zone, order block on 210. On 210, there is a major one. So if we end up getting some type of action like this, boom, boom, and then we end up breaking down here, that would be very favorable. I would love to see a breakdown here. If we get a breakdown here and we get a test of this like 210 to 212 area, this is where I would want to buy some calls and get active on chips, right? My dog is barking in the background. I'm so sorry, guys. So, so this is where I would want to get active on chips, right? So we'll try to like maybe get a retest of either a higher low here and break down on this like 220 area, and then continue breaking down to make these series of lower highs or lower highs and lower lows, or we could just come back from this 210 area and just end up rallying, maybe mounting these areas above and reclaiming highs. Who knows? Like, a lot could happen. Like, I'm very neutral in this market. I know it sounds like I'm very bearish, but I'm pretty neutral. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the reason why I say like a bearish case could happen on chips, like look at XSD. XSD has an ascending triangle here. Like, look at this. You are trying to break and mount this level. Like, if you end up breaking and mounting 229 here, guys, you could rock it. Like, you really could rock it on chips. Like, this is not a bearish chart at all. You know what I'm saying? So anything could definitely happen at this point in stage. But what I'm watching for, guys, like I said, same thing with the stocks. I'm watching for that 210. I'm watching for 210, 212. If we get some type of test here, let me get my tool. Again, we get some type of test here. This is where demand lies. This is from your previous highs. So if we get some type of test here, some type of base, some type of mount, you could play some day trades. You could play some day trades. You could play some scalps to the upside. Sell here and see what happens. Maybe you might get that breakdown to break out, or maybe you just might break down. Like, anything could happen at this point. So that's what I'm watching on chips. And yeah, that's really it. Now, this segment is going to be very important. I'm going to be going over individual names that I'm watching. Now, these individual names could carry on throughout the week. It could be your weekly play. It could be your play for maybe tomorrow, or however these plays like actually play out. So let's get into it. So first, I want to let's go over chip names, right? I want to go over, let me turn off my indicators. Boom. I want to go over AMD, right? And the reason why I have AMD right now in this line chart, right? I want you guys to see this head and shoulders here. You have a clear head and shoulders playing out here, right? Where you want to potentially test 150, right? But there are multiple trade opportunities right here, right now. You can play it both to the upside and the downside. I like AMD, right? On the candles, you do have a falling wedge pattern here. So I do think one thing that you can do is you could break up here, break out. You come into this supply zone here. The supply zone is about 180, 181. This is your supply zone. You come up here, and then you sell here. This is where you want to get active, right? You want to get active into puts here, but you want to get into calls here. That's what I'd do, me personally. Obviously you always want to go dated, but that's what I'm looking at right now. And again, just so you guys can see a line chart, like you have a head and shoulders. Like this is a picture perfect trade here. You know what I'm saying? So you have a potential for upside and potential for downside. So you play your calls here easily. You play your calls here. You sell around 180, 179, around there. Just get your profits in, get it out of the way. You sell, and then in this area here, this 180, maybe it might even go to 185, 183, who knows? Around this 180 area, you want to get into some puts and maybe target the 150 area. This 150 demand zone lies right here. This is like your previous all-time highs that you made in late December. So that's what I'd be looking for. That's my game plan. AMD, that's what I'm watching. I do believe that you're setting up for some pretty nice upside on the short term, right? So here's my chart. You have a potential falling wedge pattern here on the daily chart, right? Potential falling wedge. You end up breaking out of this falling wedge here. So let me go ahead and show you guys. You end up breaking out of this falling wedge pattern. You make a new support area right here. in this 866 area, like from between 866 to 860 is where I'd expect buyers to hold you up. So if you get buyers to hold you up, I believe you have a pretty easy trade to the upside to about 930 is what I have at target. Yeah, about 930, 932. This is where I believe that you should definitely take profits here because you have major supply zones. You have one here. You have one here. So you want to take some profits around here, 127, 125 to, 927, 925 to 930. That's where you want to take some profits. However, if you do see continuation, guys, like if you do see continuation on the video, like you could be setting up, guys, like you could be setting up to stay within this range, right? But you could honestly keep setting up to stay in this range, right? To where you keep making series of higher lows and higher highs and just break out. And if you break out, guys, then boom, right? If you break out and you end up mounting the supply zone, which is now demand, guys, you could be coming all the way up to 1,000, honestly, on Nvidia, easily coming up to 1,000. So you'll be in price discovery territory. So you could be setting up something nice. I'm not gonna lie, you could be setting up something incredible on the video. So it's very important to see what the market gives you. But for the most part, the first play that I have is from this 860-ish, 860, 870, all the way to 930. So that's what I'm watching for NVIDIA. So what I'm watching for Netflix. Guys, on Netflix, you had a rising wedge. You broke out of your rising wedge. Now you retested the rising wedge. You couldn't hold. So right now you are trying to break out. Now, if you do break out on Netflix, then, you could just be seeing the moon. Like, you could just be trying to retest your all-time highs up here at 700. That's very possible. However, due to this rising wedge formation and us just chopping around here ever since the last earnings, like we've just been chopping around this resistance area, I do believe that we're setting up to possibly go down all the way to 580, guys. I do believe that if I were to play Netflix, I don't know if I am or not, but if I do, I would target that 580 area for Netflix. And that's what I'll be watching. That's what I'll be watching for. You're potentially like making some type of distribution on these resistance areas. So that's what I'd be watching for. Tesla is pretty interesting, right, to say the least. I think Tesla could be setting up for something monsters, like something crazy. Like you could be setting up for a weekly inverse head and shoulders on Tesla. Now, it might not look like a inverse head and shoulders to you, but I clearly see it for me. Let's go ahead and put it to a line chart, right? So you have consolidation here in this shoulder. You have consolidation for this head. And now if we get some type of consolidation on this right shoulder, guys, we could be breaking out on Tesla. And guys, I've been bearish on Tesla for a long time, right? But I do think you are finding some type of base here on Tesla, guys. You are trying to find some type of base, and, maybe we might be trying to go higher. Maybe, or we could be trying to go lower. I'm not sure. But here's what I would be watching, right? If we actually clear this, right? So if we end up going higher and we clear 183, right? If we clear it and end up making some type of base here, then that is my early confirmation. At that point, I want to enter on a retest on this amount here between 180 and 185, and I want to play calls. I want to play calls all the way up to this area here of 195. If you break 195 and you hold in 195 and you continue grinding up higher, bears are here. This is your target. Your target will be 206, 205. This is where bears lie. And this is where I do believe you'll set up for some type of sell. Boom. You mount, consolidate, and boom. You could retest this 205 area and break out to a monstrous breakout. Now, this will be your potential inverse head and shoulder opportunity right here. Now, it is very apparent to note that we do have earnings coming out very soon, so anything could happen, right? Maybe you might run up to earnings and then sell on earnings and then go up. Who knows? I'm not too sure, but that's what I'm watching for on Tesla. Last but not least, I want to give you guys a sauce for Apple. I do think Apple is still pretty bearish. You did find some buyers here. I do believe that buyers are going to bring you up into this supply zone around 180, maybe 183. If you end up getting some type of sell here, I do believe your next level is going to be between 160 and 157. And this is where I want to get active. 157 and 160, I want to lay on some risk. I want to start buying shares of Apple here, because this has been your buy for 4 years now. For 4 years now, this has been your buy zone, right? So you have 1, 2, and now this could be your third test, right? And you could be setting up for something like a monstrous trade here. So if we end up coming down from 180 all the way to 159, 158, 160 around here, this is where I'm a buyer, and this is where I'm going to go pretty heavy into Apple calls. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys this week. Don't want to give you guys a bonus trade. No, I'm going to say that for my Discord. Speaking of which, if you guys want to join my Discord, the link is down below in the description, guys. You guys could join the Discord, and you guys could be amongst, some pretty good traders. We get active out here, man. We get active. We get some good games out here. Pretty interesting chat we do have in this community. So yeah, if you guys want to, the link below, the invitation is down below in the description. And with that being said, it's been your boy Go to Trades, and have a very good week. Hope everybody stays safe and stay green.